Well, listen to the buzz around this ground, getting ready for the first bounce of the season. And the two captains are playing on each other. Gavin Brown has picked up Jason Dunstall. The Hawks going to the right after Dunstall won the toss. Monkhorst beats Salmon in the middle, but Salmon roves his own ball. Smothered by Buckley. The rebounder, Buckley. He gets them to the 50 straight away. A chance for the Pies. Oh, it was a high tackle. And it is going to be a Hawthorn free kick. And the umpire coming in and telling the players to settle things right down. That was a bit loose there. Given out by Josh Marnie. So Graham to take the free for the Hawks. Up short of half forward. A juggle at the back. The mark is paid, is it? Well, there was a bit of juggling going on there, but eventually McDonald paid the mark. Kicks up towards the 50. Crowe hit the ball very hard, but what courage that was by Scott Crowe to get in front. Interesting to see Anthony Rocker starting the game on the bench. This is Mark Richardson from halfback, short of half forward. Salmon gets back there, sprinting with Russell. That's an interesting duel. Sam Rocker just busted the pack up, but the Hawks come out of defence. There's Dunstall back at half-back for the Hawks. Over centre wing with his kick, and Justin Crawford takes the mark. Second season at Hawthorn after he started in Sydney. Up inside the 50. Richardson gets back there, and Shaw will make sure the ball goes out. And there's Josh Marnie going through with what appeared to be elbow raised. The umpire had a word with him, but there was no writing in notebooks. A throw in just inside the 50. Holland behind Shawbull. Shawbull wins easily and kicks towards the boundary line. It was open country there on the southern stand side. That was aimed at no one.
And just quickly, the Hawthorn forward setup, they've got Dunstall at full forward. He'd got dragged down into defence by Brown, but he's at full forward. Crowe's in the forward pocket, so he was selected in defence, and Crummell and Holland are virtually playing as the two tall marking half forwards for the Hawks.
Boundary throw in. Thumped up the ground towards centre wing. Richard Taylor, who had an excellent year last year, just slides the hand pass away. Woods kicks from centre wing to the 50. Holland at the back. Crowed with a big jump. Did the disciplined thing to punch from behind. Soccer by Shawbull to the centre of the ground. It lands well. Chance for Patterson. Open forward line. Should be a goal for Collingwood coming up. McDonald is there. Can't get... Yes, he does. He's gone through for a goal. First blood to the Pies, and you've never seen such an open forward line.
No, they actually had all got up the field, and the ball was kicked in long. I mean, it was a lucky kick off the ground, and I think Patterson, who might be tagging Crawford, went over Crawford's head, and it really was how it had bounced. Did it bounce up? The Hawthorn defender almost got there. It only needs a little bit of the boot on the ball, and McDonald got it, Nick.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. Collingwood set up here, Lee. You look at their forward structure. It's Rocker and Watson are playing deep in the forward half, and Alex McDonald's actually positioned himself at centre half forward, and that's the reason why he was able to run into space, because those other two guys led up the ground.
Monkey beats Salmon for the second time. Aaron Lord got a kick. McCabe a little hand pass. Lord again to centre half forward. And charging up to take the mark was Crummell. Gets the ball off. Dunstall at full forward. Brown interferes. Play on, says the umpire. The ball's out of bounds, and the Hawthorn fans not happy.
Yes, he certainly backed back into it, Dunstall, but I think all Brown did was try to get his hand to the ball, and as long as you do that, you're allowed to spoil. And I think Dunstall went to the ground, really, because he lost his balance rather than illegal interference from Brown.
So a chance for the Hawks to level things up. Clean possession, Holland, and he goes!
And Mick, we see it quite regularly when a better ruckman, I think you got a situation there where Holland is going to be a better ruckman than Shawbull, and really that was a situation. This is where we have a look at this. No, I'd say play on. How do you see it?
Yeah, certainly play on. But as you said, Lee, the better ruckman against Shawbull, this part of the ground, so critical, and it's also the ground level players who gave the space to Holland to kick a goal, and great opportunity.
That was a great goal by Nick Holland. Clean possession out of the boundary throw in and snapping truly. Scores level. Monkhorst is favoured by the bounce and beats Salmon for the third time in a row. Buckley for the Pies. Clears the centre square. It's up to the 50. Kapler paddles the ball back and takes a free kick. It's against McDonald. Darren Kaplan. Cross half back. Mark not attempted. Ball knocked on. The pace of Paul Williams, but the boundary line too close.
And I guess we asked ourselves before the game, what colour football will they use? Well, we certainly know, and they're going to have to use the yellow ball. Not only that, it's a very, very dark afternoon in Melbourne anyway, and I think they would be thinking very seriously of getting the lights on quickly.
Yes, I'm amazed they're not on for the start of the game. Clean possession, Salmon. This time he beats Monkey. Kick up towards half forward. Osborne finding a new role in defence for Collingwood. Keeps the ball in and dashes away Richard Osborne. Great play. Up to half forward. Patterson is there. Stays down. Comes out to Taylor. Taylor across to the members' wing. Shane Crawford takes the mark on the logo. Finds a man in space. This game's opened up at a cracking pace. A chance here for Treleaven. Puts it up inside 50. Holland marks. Well, he was vying with Stewie Lowe for the leading marker in the competition last year until he was injured and cost himself a lot of games.
Just then, Drew, we witnessed the importance of changing direction coming out of the back half. The open field in the forward half gave Holland a three-dimensional phase to lead at the ball, and he done it so very well.
Has improved his kicking. Was their leading goal kicker last year despite injury. This is just over the goal square and put through for a minor score.
It's interesting, as this ball is going to be kicked in from the Collingwood defence, there's only one or two players forward of centre for Collingwood, Rocker and Watson. I think that Buckley is in fact playing a type of centre-half forward, going into the centre square and then coming up the field, and he and Burns has just drifted into his own down the other end. We see him left of screen there at the very back of the centre square line, and Hawthorn player will have to get out to pick him up.
Well, eventually Taylor got out to pick him up, which for a moment left Patterson unmarked, but Kapler's now got him. Collingwood working out of defence. Francisco up short of half forward. Here's Burns, good use of the body on Taylor, but he couldn't take the mark. Salmon the hand pass. Ill-directed, but he was under pressure. Here's Burns, goes to ground and a good tackle. Watson goes back. Kick just a little bit high for Moncourse. Graham loses it and Russell's tackle. Patterson, look at the pressure. Round one. They've got rid of the pre-season. They're in for 4 points. Buckley, short pass. Sav! Beautiful punch away. Fantastic work by Chapman. And the Hawks have it up to the cricket pitch area now. Treleaven goes out to the outer side with a badly directed kick. McDonald, who's kicked the only goal for Collingwood. Short pass to Buckley. Centre wing, southern stand side. Some space at half forward. Patterson. He left it too long. The kick was smothered off the boot. And he gets bowled over for his trouble. Treleaven got the first hand pass away, and McDonald chops them off near halfback.
And Mick, Collingwood are really trying to create the loose man around midfield. They got Williams and Buckley and Burns and Patterson all alternating as forwards midfield, and at the moment they've bobbed forward a bit.
Yeah, it's that rotation process that Tony Shaw's tried to implement his last 2 years of coaching, and at this stage it's working quite well, but they're breaking down across the half-forward line because of the lack of height, and also the personnel are getting too far up the ground.
What it is, Drew, is it's creating a lot of loose players, so it's a question of who can hold position. There we see a good strong bump by Barker, but at the moment it's a game of keepings off because there's loose players pretty much created all over the field.
Salmon's hand pass was intercepted by Burns. Buckley can kick it a mile. He's 51 metres out. He goes for distance. It's close. Goal to base.
Well, I think that really that Hawthorn don't really want it to be a game of keepings off, Mick, and I think they would be really trying to make sure that every player's got a direct opponent just to try and tighten the game up, because if it comes a free-flowing, high-scoring game, I suspect Collingwood are much more capable of kicking a big score.
Collingwood 2 goals, Hawthorn 1-1. Buckley no trouble off the left boot from outside the 50. Salmon wins in the middle. It spills to Buckley. He kicks inside centre half forward. Severio's there. The pack splits up. Watson in for Collingwood. Down goes Chapman, former Brisbane player. Whistle's gone, and it's going to be a free kick to Chapman. Nathan Chapman, who played 60 games in 5 years for Brisbane, finds a new home at Hawthorn. Kicks over centre wing. Holland, good lead. Under pressure to take the mark, couldn't quite manage it. Shane Crawford's hand pass missed the target. Well done, Watson. Hand pass put Burns under pressure. He spun round in Lekis's tackle. Great tackle.
It's not a game anymore, Mick, where you can really not take first possession. On Hassel on that occasion, not the greatest ball handler, just didn't take first grab, then he was nailed.
Yeah, you can't afford a fumble in today's footy, Lee. But it's interesting the positioning of Salmon here. He's pushing back into the front half of Collingwood, trying to block and nullify the influence of Sav Rocker throughout the course of the event.
McDonald paddles out to Watson. Centering kick. Severio. Oh, should have marked right in front, 40 metres out. The Collingwood fans thought it was a mark, but I'm sorry, boys, it was no mark. Graham Wright. You can see the ball is slippery and the surface is slippery. That's tunnel towards the boundary line, and that'll be a throw in.
Drew, I'm just a bit worried about Andrew Schwabble and Nick Holland. I reckon Nick Holland will just have outpaced Andrew Schwabble. Andrew Schwabble's been behind a couple of times when Nick Holland's led.
Severio Rocker should have taken the mark. Greasy ball or not. Salmon wins, so Salmon and Monkhorst virtually sharing it in the ruck. Ball comes to Hassel. Hassel's kick up towards 50. Punch out by Richardson. Gets good support by Crow. Into the centre. Monkhorst. Great work by Taylor, who turned the ball over. It's flipped over by Justin to Shane Crawford. Off his bootlaces by Crummell. Back to Justin Crawford. Wide for Dunstall. Take it! Welcome back to champ.
Yes, this is going to be an intriguing match-up between Brown and Dunstall. I think any of us have had anything to do with Gavin Brown or even observed him, Mick. Fantastic one-on-one player. On that occasion, really, he got the half-yard. Dunstall, the kick was out in front. There was little that Brown could do.
Yeah, there's little you could do on that situation, Lee, but it is interesting, their forward structure. They are giving Dunstall as much time and space as they possibly can. When the ball is coming forward, there's a lot of options for him to lead to, a lot of free space, and when you get delivery like that, it's very hard to stop.
Hardly ever been a better kicker at goal in football than the former Queenslander, but he's hooked this one and hooked it badly from behind.
Yes, he played most of the game, the last practice game last week against Geelong. Got a fair bit of the ball, but kicked inaccurately. So just at the moment, I think it's important for Dunstall's confidence that he actually gets a couple through to get his goal-kicking rhythm.
Mark Richardson kicks in. We look over his shoulder. Straight down the ground as Graham Wright takes the mark inside the defensive 50. Off to Buckley. Buckley's half-distance pass out towards centre wing. Watson taken off the ball too easily. And out of bounds it goes in centre wing. Well, after all the practice matches and all the pre-season work prior to Christmas and after Christmas, this is when it counts. And a most important game for 4 points for both clubs. Aaron Lord's kick up short of the 50. Osborne had a fumble, let it get behind him. Fantastic pickup by Crode, the first gamer. And a terrific mark taken down near the forward pocket by Justin Crawford. Difficult angle for Crawford.
Shane Crawford, then his brother, he just didn't really know whether to go or not. The running back with the flight of the ball, the hardest thing you can do in football. And I think just at the last moment, you realise his brother Justin had the better positioning and allowed him to take the mark.
He can put the Hawks in front. Oh, it looks close. Just missed, I think. So they've had their chances. 4 scoring shots to 2, but they trail by 3 points.
It's interesting, Nathan Buckley has really made a name for himself, kicking the ball in from full-back for Collingwood. He's not doing it. Mark Richardson is giving that big responsibility. He got the first one nailed to Graham Wright on the 50-metre mark. Hawthorn playing a zone to defend it.
Richardson straight up the ground, looking for Wright. He's swamped, but it flips over the back to Monkhorst, playing the role of rover. Monkey to full forward. 2 kicks full back to full forward, but it doesn't reach Sav. It comes to McDonald, who kicks his second. Well, that is the way to play footy, isn't it? 2 kicks from one end of the ground to the other.
Well, it was. The kicking, Mick, was good, but have a look at this.
Yeah, well, it's probably a mark by Capel that should have been taken, but McDonald played the percentage option, ran to the back of the pack, knowing that it is a little bit greasy, mistakes do happen, and he ran into an open goal. But the value of getting the ball direct down at goal, Lee, and the knock over, Collingwood players run under it. As soon as you get out of that area, an option comes existed.
The
Damien Monkhurst looks like he's going to have a big year this year. He looks very, very fit and lost a lot of weight. And he's very mobile. Last year he struggled to run, but this year he's very, very mobile and looks good. And he's happy to play into the back half against Hawthorn's forward line, and he's doing a great job.
Alex McDonald going off there for the blood rule. I wouldn't have thought anybody had got near enough to him.
I was going to say, that kick in, Holland had the chance to get up and punch the ball back, and he failed to do it. That's where it's so critical on those long kick-ins that the ball goes back towards your goals. If it runs further into the centre square, almost inevitably the defensive team will run it out.
And the bleeding arm for Alex McDonald has seen Frank Razzo come on for his first run in an official AFL game for the Pies. Salmon wins in the middle. It goes to right. Way to Burns. Rocker. Another 2 or 3 touches for Sav. Back to Watson. They've lost ground, lost possession. Lord. Chapman under pressure. Chick outside of his right boot. High to centre wing. Holland is there, outnumbered 2-1. Crumbs gathered by Buckley. He's bowled over. Play on, says the umpire. Crow's hand pass. Intercepted. Good use of the body by Monkhorst. And then he's dragged to the ground. Play on again, says the umpire. Russell across the ground. And is chopped off by Treleaven. His kick up wide. Justin Crawford.
Darren Kapler's come off and Daniel Chick's come on.
It's Crowd, the first gamer. To full forward. Holland down there to lend support. It's punched to the goal square. Chance for Dunstall. Lord is there as well. And the ball is kept in by Lord. Osborne. Short pass could be dangerous, but Russell marks inside defensive 50. Scott Russell to Monkhorst, who started pretty well. Got a tough assignment against Salmon, who's been at Hawthorn for 2 years and has won the club best and fairest both times. Monkhorst into Watson. Watson. Gee, they're getting some space on the forward line, Collingwood. Patterson. Rocker offers a dummy lead. Oh, look at this. Dashing up from defence is Gibson, the former Hawthorn player. But he can't hook it back far enough and kicks it behind.
Yes, and Ken Judge wouldn't be happy because Brendan Crummell, he gave Gibson probably 10 or 15 metres and he just had to try and make the yard to catch him. But Gibson really had the prime opportunity then to have a pretty easy shot from that 50-metre arc.
It's Hawthorn players who were probably shirking the opponent responsibility at this stage of the game. And it's interesting, Ken Judge has made the significant match-up. He's put Lekas onto Buckley. He's had 7 kicks at the 17-minute mark of the first quarter.
Huge leap at the back and the thump down by Sav Rocker. It spilled back past him. Shane Crawford's got too much toe. Wait, sapped it. Whoa, he got him. Well done, Big Severio. Right, threads the hand pass through to Watson. Watson, high, wide, and not all that handsome to the 50. No interference in the pack. Hawthorn free kick to Salmon. What a man. He's probably been the best recruit from another club for the last, decade. Been there 2 years and won the best and fairest both times. Burns comes out wide to right. Graham Wright lacked match practice when they played in the Ansett Cup game against the West Coast, but another month has put a bit of speed in his legs. The dive by Chick, the hand pass short of Salmon. Salmon goes to ground. Russell got a little toe to it and the ball's out.
It's a terrific chase here by Sav Rocker, but when you go to lean over and pick up the ball, you just have to break your stride, and Rocker was quick enough to get him. But that one where Salmon fell on the ball is just the rule where you're not allowed to fall on the ball. Makes players play it on. Much better for the spectacle of the game as players start to play for the rule.
Chapman's kick. Lord gets around right. Well done by Aaron Lord. Over the centre. Monkhorst getting to where the ball is. Hand pass to Schauble. Burns dives. Drops the slippery ball. Watson. Schauble again. Kick smothered by Chick. Burns to Patterson, and Salmon also getting to where the ball is, but he's clean bowled by that. I think he's playing in India. Paul Williams, up and goal.
Well, Mick, there is something of a luck in football. That quick kick forward by Patterson, it could have landed in Paul Salmon's arms, but it basically landed at his feet. Let's have a look at this. Well, just before that, That was Williams finishing it off, but just prior to that, the quick kick forward by Collingwood landed at the feet of Salmon, and from then he couldn't control it.
Craig Terrellan's come off and Darren Kapler's come on.
Back in the middle, and Collingwood 4 goals to 1. Getting a little bit out of hand already for the Hawks. Moncourse beats Salmon in the middle, but the Rovers are there for the Hawks. Leckis to Woods. Back to the centre of the ground. Moncourse met solidly by Crummell. It's on the cricket pitch area. Taylor gets a bad bounce. Buckley gets it away from him. Richard Taylor again. Off the left. To the front edge of the square. Drop mark by Crow. Krasiska is there with him. Well done, Gavin Krasiska. Umpire let it go. Still lets it go. Check the hand pass out. Kapler under pressure. It's Bills to Holland. No distance in the kick. Buckley with his eyes on it. Justin Crawford. There's an awkward position there. Buckley took the mark. Look at the space here for Moncourse. And he's got Crow running past. Had to wait for the hand pass. Good tackle by Crow, the first gamer. And he's assisted in turning the ball over. Hawthorn have it. Dunstall's down there in the pocket. Tried to keep it in, and that'll be a throw-in.
Damien Moncourse has hurt his left shoulder. He's got trouble in his AC joint there, and the doctor's just having a look now.
That'll be a blow because he started in magnificent fashion, Moncourse. He just keeps finding the ball against Salmon at the moment and has got the initiative in this very early part.
And this is how it happened. It was met pretty solidly there by Brendan Crummell. Holland gets it to the back. Taylor fires out the hand pass. And a chance here for the Hawks with Barker offline. Another minor score. Hawthorn 1-4, Collingwood 4-1.
One thing that's particularly impressed me about Collingwood's play, when the ball's coming out of Hawthorn's half-back line, every player forward of the ball have ran that hard to get goal side of their direct opponent, and that's the reason why Hawthorn are turning the ball over, because their precision with their ball use just isn't there at the moment.
Shannon Gibson, who had 4 years at Hawthorn, switched over to Collingwood, off to Graham Wright. Not a perfectly delivered kick, bit of a float about it. And Shane Crawford with blonder hair than I've ever seen before. Marks, kicks across the half-back line to Chapman. Nathan Chapman, a Victorian who's spent all his career so far in Brisbane. Shawball marks.
Poor delivery, isn't it? He got the ball out wide, they changed direction, but then you've got to find an opponent. He's turned the ball over, and now every Hawthorn player has to try and find his direct Collingwood opponent. Hard to do on those quick turnovers.
Shawball, plenty of distance about the kick. Watson, he balked to punch the ball on, then took clean possession, which was clever play. And now Burns has it on the 50. In short to Buckley. Nathan Buckley roaming far and wide.
Yes, I don't know whether there's a name for the position that Buckley's playing. I'd say almost on-ball forward, Mick. He's just basically playing as forward half, going into the centre squares, but really looking to be a goal kicker to get down on the end of them.
Buckley's already kicked a snap from outside the 50. This is about 42 metres, and he's got his second.
Just to add merit to that point, Lee, that you made, it is so easy to control your own starting points. When you got Leckis, who's actually playing on him at this point of time, he can control when he wants to drift forward. Great mark by Burns, who slid into that one. But ideally, he looked inside, seen Buckley free, and used the ball effectively and gave it to Nathan Buckley on his chest, and his conversion was spot on.
Collingwood have kicked 5. Buckley 2, Alex McDonald 2. And the other one from Paul Williams. Anthony Rocker on the bench, and Sav hasn't had too much leather. Salmon wins in the middle. Kapler breaks free, hooks the ball up the ground. Salmon to Rove. All Hawthorn now. Crummell slaps the ball out to Woods. He loses it in a good tackle. Comes to Patterson. Collingwood on fire at the moment. Oh, Chapman didn't go all that hard at it. Russell. Nobody in the goal square. got the distance and not far off a goal.
Well, again, the quick kick forward landed at the feet of the Hawthorn defender. It has not been really flowing for Hawthorn at the moment. Collingwood got reasonable control of the game, but I think Hawthorn just have to persist until it turns.
Just to add mirror to what Paul Couch said, Lee, it doesn't look good for Damien Monkhurst. They've continually gone out to him, the doctors and the physio staff. I wouldn't be surprised if they're about to make a change. Anthony Rocker looks like coming on.
Taylor from the back pocket.
He's certainly hanging the left arm, no doubt about that.
And it was Severio there trying to spoil Salmon, and he couldn't manage it. Salmon the mark, up to centre wing. Justin Crawford will take a free kick.
Damien Monkhurst is having trouble lifting his left arm there, boys.
Kapler with plenty of distance off that left. Monkhorst top left of screen. Schauble ran into trouble. Oh, the umpire says it was held to him.
And a lot of play over the other side near where Peter McKenna's watching this match. Macca, it seems the intensity of Collingwood is probably just finding Hawthorn out at the moment.
Yeah, agreed, Lee. And they're also got a big edge in pace. They're killing Hawthorn around the packs. And I'm enjoying the Collingwood forward line. Rocker, they're not relying on him so much. He's coming up the ground. They've got players running into the forward line. And you can see again that pace there. Buckley getting that ball before his opponent.
He's just a ball-gathering machine, Nathan Buckley. Up to 50. Watson very high. Salmon in front, couldn't take the mark. Severio gets the hand pass out. A bit slick for Russell.
Already had 10 kicks, Nathan Buckley. It's a big first quarter, isn't it? Getting a lot of the ball, and if he gets a lot of kicks, you know the ball's going to get plenty of yardage forward.
Monkey's coming off, and Anthony Rocker about to come on for Collingwood. So Monkey's start to the season hasn't lasted a quarter. Don't know that we'll see him back today. As they can get to work on it furiously. Hawks work it through the centre. Hand pass floated over the top to Shane Crawford. Long kick over their heads to the goal square. Great long goal.
Great percentage play by... the Crawford brothers there. They got the ball inside centre corridor. Crawford seen Dunstall lead up the ground. He propped, he stopped Gavin Brown from getting back into the goal square, knowing that it is a greasy ground. The ball is always going to run for you, and that's exactly what it did on that occasion.
It's interesting to see how this ruck change. I think Monkhurst has just been terrific at this point.
Well, a much-needed goal for Hawthorn. The Crawford brothers sharing it in midfield before Shane kicked a long-running goal. And now Anthony Rocker in the ruck with Monkhorst off the ground. Comes to Leckis. High to half forward. Holland in the same direction as the ball, showing great courage. Crow bumped out of it. Well done, Justin Crawford. Holland to Shane Crawford. The two Crawford boys enjoying each other's company, I reckon. Leckis up towards the goal square. Works to the back of the pack and through for a minor score. Big leaper there was John Barker.
And Damien Monkhurst is in a lot of trouble with that left shoulder. Looks like his AC joint. It's a little bit lifted there, and the doctors are giving him a lot of treatment there. He's in a lot of pain, Damien. It's unfortunate because he's had a great pre-season.
Shannon Gibson not looking too good there for a while. Richardson kicks it in a mile to the cricket pitch area. Anthony Rocker just on the ground. That's got to be 50. That ball was jolted out by Woods, but it's not being ruled by the umpire.
I think he might be going to bounce the ball, the umpire. No, blood rule, that's why he's holding up the play. Shannon Gibson, I think, is coming off the ground. They would be already concerned about Hawthorn, about the Collingwood's ability to find a player in the centre square. The long kick in down the middle that you keep running through, that's the one that really cuts you up. And, gee, there's a bit of blood there.
Yeah, cut to the back of the head, Shannon Gibson. All his opponents today were teammates last year.
I would reckon you'd have to be telling Salmon just to patrol that long kick down the centre square and make sure there's height there, make Collingwood go wide from the kickings.
Giacomo unmarked on centre wing. Kicks it back across to the far side of the ground. Buckley flew. Well, he went 7 feet up and about 19 feet along. Nearly the world record.
It's amazing, you know, sometimes, Mick, there's about 8 players looking at the ball, but only one player really went at it.
Yeah, well, there was too many players playing body on that situation, but it was the judgment and the aerial skill of Nathan Buckley that actually, as we see the screen here, Nathan Buckley was the one that ran with his intensity and momentum through the line of the ball. This will test him for distance, but he can kick it a mile.
and ripped off the front of the pack by Chapman for a rush behind.
Just on that, Drew, it just goes to show, irrespective how good a kick you are, the further you get out the goal from goal, it's so hard to remain straight and also kick the ball accurately for goal. Nathan Buckley on that occasion probably tried to kick it too hard, therefore he was inaccurate.
I think we saw the staple gun being used. I'm glad it's him and not me, Shannon Gibson.
And I'm glad we cut away from it just quietly.
Good fun, those staple guns. Lee, he's got a couple of stables there. They're having a crack right at it.
Gee, Anthony Rocker's come out to play. Terrific punch from behind. Goes to Burns. Chance for Williams. Shrugs a tackle. Good play, Paul Williams. In the back, right in front. Collingwood free kick. Josh Marnie with the free.
And again, from these kicking situations, Collingwood are getting up and thumping the ball back into their own forward line, whereas Hawthorn allowing it to come forward from the other end. But a little unlucky Chapman, I guess. But front position, you get the lucky breaks.
Marnie gets the goal. And it was interesting then, off the ball, every Collingwood player ran to Anthony Rocker to congratulate him for the spoil, which Fairningham set up the goal.
Took been a team play for a long time, that punching the ball back, Mick.
Yeah, it's so important in that part of the ground, Lee. It's a team discipline from most sides, and when you do get an aggressive type punch from that setup, it's amazing how many times it does fall back into the line of the path for the Collingwood players.
Well,
and we'll see this spoil here. Rocker on the wide line of the centre square. Bang!
Because players always tend to look to come out with the ball. They'll always be a step the attacking side.
Well, this will be a dilemma, maybe a good one for Collingwood. Moncourt's about to come back on. I wouldn't think he'd replace Rocker because Anthony Rocker's been all right since he's been there. And wins in the middle again, down to Paul Williams. It's taken by Leckis. Last minute and a half of the first quarter. Crummel the hand pass to Salmon. Salmon short pass, went into the back of Holland. Well, our clock didn't agree with the officials' clock. There is the siren. We're showing 1:03 still to go. That is quarter time here at the MCG in twilight football, and Monkey didn't quite get back on in the first quarter.
That looks like the one-armed man, doesn't it? He could not possibly about to come on. You can tell by the left arm doesn't move when he walks. It's just hanging. I'd be very surprised if, unless there's a very effective painkiller available in the Collingwood medical camp.
Well, it's a 22-point lead to Collingwood at quarter time. 6-3-39 to Hawthorn, 2-5-17.
And as this ball's about to be bounced, a complete gap at the centre-half forward area for Collingwood. Complete vacant space.
Bounce by umpire Coates. Anthony Rocker still on the ball. Salmon wins, but it comes to Buckley. The ball bounces up towards half forward. Marnie, number 8. Ridden into the ground. No, it's not play on. Free kick in the back.
And I think Paul Salmon's got the hobbles up too, can I tell you? I don't think it's just a little knock. He's looking pretty sore.
Kick by Marnie. Sav Rocker in a big pack. Well, big Severio Rocker. He really needs to stand up.
I think he's hurt himself, Mick. Paul Salmon, maybe both ruckmen might have trouble seeing this game out.
He certainly isn't moving well with the normal type running gait that we see Paul Salmon used to.
Severio will be kicking from about 48 metres. He's got plenty of distance. I think he's kicked the goal. No. Just away to the left.
He is a powerful kick, isn't he? He can keep it on line, but gee, there's some power behind it.
He's a terrific long kick, but in that ruck contest, Lee, if Salmon is right, this is where they could get back into this contest. Not against a specialist ruckman in Anthony Rocker, and his endurance levels isn't that great. So really, Paul Salmon should be looking to impose his will and his knowledge into the game and try to get Hawthorn back into this contest.
Not a bad option for the kick-ins. Nathan Chapman, he won sun kick when he was a kid living down in Melbourne, and he's got it nearly to the centre. It comes to Shane Crawford, who was dashing off, but the whistle had gone.
Well, I think the play was just held up enough that the umpire couldn't really let the advantage go, although the Hawthorn supporters think he probably should. But poor old Paul Salmon, he wasn't looking too good, but the 100-odd Ks of Severio Rocker crashing into your back, well, you really don't need that.
Oh, no.
His back isn't too good at all, Lee.
He looks a lot worse now. And the Hawks working it out of defence. Here's Daniel Chick. Chapman up from full-back. He's freed up Mark Graham to play elsewhere. The move of Chapman to full-back. Inside half-forward, Paul Salmon leaving the ground. So we've lost both number 1 ruckmen in the first 32 minutes of the game.
Steve Lawrence has come on for Craig Trevelyan. And just interesting, at quarter time, Tony Shaw wanted to use Anthony Rocker through the middle when Paul Salmon sits back on Collingwood's half-forward line.
Damien Monkhorst has reappeared from the change rooms, and he looks as though he's threatening to come back on once again. Hawthorn into attack. A high ball there from Raiden Tallis. Up just outside the 50. Lord. Hawks definitely need the first goal of this second quarter. Good tackle applied by Crawford. Anthony Rocker to Osborne. Richard Osborne, more used to kicking goals at the start of his career, now back in defence for the Pies. Sav Rocker!
Vacant goal square here, Drew.
Well, they want to talk. They want, like Anthony did in Anzac Day last year. He went in short, Chick's hand pass. Accidentally socked away by Lawrence. Lord, and they work it up short through Richard Taylor. 23 points the margin. Kicked by Taylor to half forward. Comes off hands to Holland. Buckley crunched into him, shins and all. Well, ball stayed in. Mark Graham, centering kick. Gibson. It's Cromwell right in front.
Gibson's on the other side. He must have the look of him. It's just amazing, of course. Rocker had the height, but when you're flat-footed and stationary as Rocker was, and Cromwell had the jump, it wasn't hard for him to get the extra 6 inches elevation to pluck it out of his hands.
So Brendan Cromwell right in front. 40 metres. Has goal.
Well, I don't know about this ruck situation, Nick. It's interesting. Both sides have lost their main ruckman. I must say Paul Salmon has looked very, very sluggish today. Just maybe Stephen Lawrence in the ruck may give Hawthorn a little bit more mobility around the middle of the ground.
That's one thing they're certainly lacking, is that mobility across the midfield, because it is Collingwood who are winning the contest, winning enough balls around those contests, and they're the one who's using the ball far more effectively when they're going forward.
So it's Lawrence on the ball. Salmon still on the ground. Bounce favours Anthony Rocker. And that doesn't help the opposition. Buckley, a free kick virtually. Up to half forward. Sav used his push out. Kicks across the ground. And a chance for Leckers to get back in defence. Oh, he had it spent before he got it. Patterson's got him. Oh, Angelo Leckers.
I'm amazed how many times the ball seems to be bobbling. That damn oval ball bobbling at all different angles at the feet of the Hawthorn players. And a number of occasions they've had fumbled because of that.
Now Lawrence against Severio Rocker. Shane Crawford can't keep it in. 40-23, Collingwood in charge early. But Hawthorn have had their chances. They've had 8 scoring shots to 10, but have kicked 3 goals 5. Paul Salmon down on the forward line, being picked up by Mark Richardson. Rocker and Lawrence once more. Williams for Collingwood. Right. Leckers this time. Went for the boundary. Well, he got the boundary last time, but that was more decisive.
The players are having trouble with the conditions on the ground. It is a little bit slippery, so it is making it a little bit difficult for both sides, but Collingwood seem to be handling it a little bit better.
I guess you've got a firm surface with just damp grass, which makes it very slippery.
Yeah, that's what's happening at the moment. It's just very damp on top and hard underneath, making it very slippery.
Collingwood coaching staff over in the southern stand. Once again, the ball is out. Just about underneath Peter McKenna. Darren Kapler looking on, pensively. Chin in hand. Lawrence works to the front. Anthony Rocker over the back, but gave it straight up to the opposition. Now Daniel Chick has the mark in between half-back and wing. Kicks towards half-forward. Cromwell! Can't mark. Buckley had it spent before he got it. Cromwell, the hand pass out. Lord. Inside the 50. Richard Osborne. Oh, he dropped it. It is a game of fumbles at the moment. Aussie, lightning hand pass with plenty on it to Crow. Smothered by Cromwell. The Hawks a chance now. Lord centres the ball in the direction of Salmon, but Richardson gets there. Salmon is moving with the speed of a glacier at the moment.
Yes, he's definitely got to come off, Drew. He can hardly run.
He didn't kick over the mark, Richardson, so he's going to have to do it again. And I suppose the one thing Salmon might be able to do with his height is maybe try and smother this. Whistle's gone again, something off the ball. It is to be a Collingwood free kick to go to Alex McDonald at half-back. Sorry, you didn't see it.
I think it was to do with Russell and Crawford, I suspect, and the call went Collingwood's way. Just a little bit of off-the-ball intimidation, I guess. I don't think there was much in it, but enough for the umpire to actually award a free kick. So Shane Crawford at the moment is actually, and I think, again, he grabbed hold of Graham Wright's jumper just on the wing there, and the ball will come back for Wright. So I think Crawford just has to controlled aggression is the name of the game, not uncontrolled.
So Wright takes the free kick. Anthony Rocker found himself up at full forward with Lawrence. And they worked towards the boundary line. I find it hard to believe that is Raiden Tallis. You see a bloke with a crew cut one year and he comes out looking like that the next year. I've got to get used to it.
Not like the old days, Drew. You don't have your same coloured hair your whole life.
Boy, oh boy. He has got Tallis's number on, but I'm still not sure it's him. And the ball bounces out of bounds.
I think it's interesting at the moment. All of a sudden, I think Hawthorn have degenerated this game to something of a struggle. The conditions have helped them because the ball's very slippery. And just at the moment, they're not going too bad. If they can just hold Collingwood from scoring, they're just getting into this game in general play.
Keen judge in desperation, Lee's put Mark Graham on to Nathan Buckley, trying to curb his influence on this contest.
Another free kick to Collingwood there. This is a good mark by Shane Crawford. That's the best way to answer a couple of free kicks. Get hold of the footy. Off to Leckis. Salmon is coming off the ground. The kick by Leckis short of half forward. Krasiska held it long enough. Mark Pay.
Turning the ball over a lot, Hawthorn, when they've come forward, really kicking the ball almost straight to Collingwood players. It was a 2-on-1 situation. Collingwood had the two and they got the ball. Krasiska virtually marked it unopposed.
Well, Mock Horse has an injury up high, shoulder, and Salmon's back or groin or somewhere a bit lower. But we've lost both ruckmen by the midpoint of the second quarter.
I think he's feeling his groin, Drew.
Thought it might have been that. Krasiska's kick towards half forward. Holland. Nick Holland. He won't be leading goal kicker again this year if he's doing work down the half back. They work it towards half forward. Justin Crawford. Beautiful hand pass. Here's Crowd the first game. A short pass. Dunstall couldn't get down to it. It's on the 50. And holding the ball.
Woo. Well, he certainly dived a long way away, Gavin Brett. He's dropped the ball.
50 metres it'll be too.
Be interesting to have a look at this replay. I mean, really, the ultimate desperation is to actually dive full length, and Brown did that, and certainly the umpire didn't give a lot of time thereafter for him to knock the ball. Let's have a look. He dives full length, got there first.
Gee, all the same, it's pretty hard to hit the ball out when your legs and arms are all buckled in like that.
That is true. I guess the rule makers are saying if you dive on the ball, you do it at your own risk.
Richard Taylor, after a free and a 50-metre penalty, kicks the goal. And it looked as though Gavin Brown was apologising to the umpire for something he'd said there. Now, surely, as a captain, he's entitled, isn't he?
I think he's just questioning why was it a 50-metre penalty. He accepted the decision that he dived on the ball, but I could sort of read his lips, why the 50?
I think what the umpire did pay, as he actually came up after the free kick, he picked the ball up and let it drop. That was how the umpire saw it, at least.
Just as one quick change there, Darren Kapler come on for John Barker.
Let's have a look at this, Mick. He picks it up, and we'll watch it, let it run, let it run. There's the free kick. It's going to be a long one. Well, not sure if there was something just a second or two after that. There was certainly nothing up to the end of that little bit of vision, was there?
Well, the Pies fans not happy, and the free kick gets Hawthorn within 11 points. Across the ground, Marnie, number 8, giving chase. Just behind him is Raiden Tallis. I can promise you, number 29. The ball out of play. And Paul Salmon, you're in heaps of bother.
Damien Monkhurst is coming on for Anthony Rocker. He's going to have another go on the shoulder.
Here's Anthony Rocker, number 23, against Lawrence. Lawrence wins it down to Justin Crawford. Up short of half forward. Bounces in no man's land. Holland. It's more like his position on the field. Shane Crawford in. Chopped off by Shawble. Buckley. Well, you'll can forgive the players for the slippery conditions that a lot of marks that look as though they should be taken are being dropped. Anthony Rocker paddles the ball out. Moncourse preparing to come back on. Hawthorn have it in the middle, but a great tackle by Richard Osborne. Shane Crawford goes off the ground. Here's Leckis. Good tackle, Shawble. Hawthorn setting up Justin Crawford. Too wide for Crummell. Desperate to keep it in, but he can't.
It's interesting then, Drew, from the centre of the ground there, the momentum of the North Melbourne players just here, the great tackle, even though it was by Richard Osborne. The Hawthorn players' momentum, they kept driving their bodies through the line of the ball, eventually come across their half-forward line, and a scoring opportunity nearly come out of nothing.
And Monkhorst is back on with Salmon off the ground. Justin Crawford has a ping for goal offline, out of bounds.
I think this is where, when the ball gets just a little bit slippery, players have to resist the temptation to kick the ball to the leads that you would normally kick to, because if the player's under any pressure, he's going to have a lot of difficulty marking the ball. This is where, from the 50-metre line, you've really got to try and go for the open goal as much as possible.
Prestigiacomo can't take the mark. Now, are you holding it? Play on, says the umpire. No, this time he says, give it to me, I'll ball it up.
It's a question of what team is going to adapt better, Lee, in the situation. I think the effectiveness of kicking the ball over 40, 50 metres, their maximum kicking distances, to an advantage of a teammate further on up the ground, that's the difference between the two sides, and eventually the winning side will come out of that.
Oh, did you see Monkey then? He's whacked Lawrence in the gob.
Well, there's absolutely no doubt, and I mean, I don't know this, but I still think there's no doubt that Monkey's had a pain-killing injection. I wonder whether we'll ever get to the time where they become illegal, that a player isn't allowed to have a pain-killing injection.
Yeah, good point. Open territory here. Unbelievable, deserted midfield. Mark Graham did well on Buckley. Knocked down by Richardson. Another chance for Hawthorn. McCabe just gets the hand pass through. Burns let it get behind him. Russell goes off the ground. Shane Crawford first back there for the Hawks. They've got plenty of men here. They can set up. Richard Taylor. One out, Dunstall. Crummell needs to rove, and Crow rushes it behind.
As you mentioned earlier, Lee, Hawthorn have certainly stabilised this situation to the end. They're back in this contest.
That would have been a free kick to Monkhorst. One would have thought if the umpire saw the view that we just had.
The kick in, up goes Shawble, can't take the mark. Still here for Hawthorn. Patterson dodges Crowd. Patterson's kick over centre wing. Tallis knocks the ball away from Buckley. Comes to McCabe. Buckley followed up. Good hands. Just put it down the line for Marnie. Well tackled there by Tallis. It crumbs to Graham. Shawble takes the mark. Here you are calling him Lee all the time, Mick. Now, when he was coaching, was he Lee or Barney or
Sir.
Mr. Matthews or Sir? Sir? Patterson's kicked to full forward. Good solid punch away from behind. It comes to Chapman. Hawthorn are going all right. They've just kicked 4-6, same number of scoring shots, and they trail by 10 points. Watson in trouble behind the play. Here's Aaron Lord, inside the 50, Dunstall.
In the context of this game, this is a critical kick, not only for Dunstall's ability to get back into the game and for his own personal confidence, to beget the whole Hawthorn team, because they are certainly got the momentum at this stage of the game.
It's the first time they've been able to really kick the ball to a leading player, as we see this contest. Aaron Lord coming through the half-back line, and they're just able to run the ball out. Tough work off the ball.
Dunstall for his first goal today. Bad knee and all. How do you like it?
Yes, they seem to be playing a lot of players in their forward 50, Hawthorn, and I think when the ball is a bit hard to deliver, just maybe they've got to have more space forward of the ball, and although they're getting the ball, they're really dominating the play. Most of this quarter has been played in Hawthorn's forward half. They're not really creating enough scoring opportunities.
Shane Watson's come off. He's got a little bit dazed. He's got a hit in the head, and Brad Fuller's on the half-forward flank.
Hope you're enjoying twilight football on 7. Lawrence didn't clear the centre circle with his knockout. Overrun by Woods. Burns to Krasisko. Chapman, good mark.
That was the mark of a player whose confidence is up, Mick. He really attacked that.
he could be an important player for Hawthorn over the course of the year, because he does present good foot skills, and he also takes the percentage time to run up the ground and use his options on the way through.
Shane Crawford up to Lord, but he had to knock the ball away. It's back to the centre circle with Richard Osborne. Back he goes to Russell. His kick high to the 50. Punch by Chick from behind. Comes to Patterson. Slimy sort of a ball. Back to Buckley, who dominated in the first quarter, not so much in the second. Graham's done pretty well. Paul Williams threads the hand pass through. Short pass is good, and Burns takes the mark well within kicking distance.
That was good awareness by young Brad Fuller, I think it was, who came forward then. He was able to see that Burns had got a long way here in the forward 50, so it was really just a simple little chip kick. Not to a player in a contest, but a player standing well on his own.
Fuller, named as an emergency, took the place of Mal Michael in the selected side. There's the shot for goal. It looks all right, a goal.
Collingwood's view, that was pretty important that they stopped the run of Hawthorn. Hawthorn had managed to kick 3 consecutive goals in this quarter, similar to what Collingwood did in the first. They did kick 4. There's the Watson incident on television, hit by his own teammate. But what happened there, the leadership qualities of Scott Burns did come out. He's a very responsible player down there at Collingwood, so important to their whole structure, whether he plays back in the midfield or even as today, he's trying to get the feel of things. He's missed a lot of pre-season, and he's starting to get the feel of things by drifting forward.
And alone in the forward goal square at the moment, and Crawford is the player who's drawn the short straw, has to go back. Hawthorn won't allow that for too long.
Would have thought they need him up in the middle, but here's Darren Kapler going for a burst out of the middle. Dunstall one out. Brown got to it first to knock it away from the champ. Both champs. Holland did well. Justin Crawford centres the ball, or tries to. Poor old kick. It bounced just in the field of play. Richard Osborne looks as though he's got a knock round the head.
The situation, Collingwood just love to float a player forward of the play, but when they're not winning those new possession balls, that's when they're in trouble. And I think this has happened for the last 15 minutes of the game, quite possibly. First quarter was working for them.
Collingwood by 7 points. Holland gets the hand pass away. Hassel couldn't get boot the ball. Scott Crowe eventually clears the area.
Great courage by Williams.
And the ball knocked up the ground. Tony Woods is back there. Took his eyes off it. Socked away by Osborne. Great stuff by the veteran.
Peter McKenna, it's a pretty intense game over there.
Yes, I think, as you said, Lee, it's developing into a real slog where Hawthorn have improved midfield. I think it'll be nearly worth a try to give Dunstall a go, one out for a little while down that forward line. See if he can lead on Brown and get out in front.
Here's Richard Osborne near centre wing. Anthony Rocker's back on, so they've got a pretty tall side. He replaced Marnie. Lightning hand pass, and Hawthorn out of defence. And the chest mark is taken by Crode, the youngster picked up in the October draft. Good distance with the kick. Dunstall and Brown. Rover wanted. Justin Crawford. 45 metres out. Again he centres in typical Hawthorn fashion. Look at this pack. Graham Wright gets out of trouble, but it's all Hawthorn again. It bounces over Woods. It is a contrary thing, isn't it, of football? Kapler. Gee, thought he dropped it in the tackle, so did the Collingwood fans. They yelled out, ball!
Well, I can tell you this football may be a bit slippy, but it's certainly hot as well. Players are really fumbling beyond the conditions because the pressure on them, I think, is creating that.
Paul Salmon still not looking too good. Lawrence got it. Ball flipped up. Comes to Kapler, who got it from Trelevin. They're working hard now. Hassel. Crummel. Trelevin. It is hot. Crummel. Dunstall, half volley. Well, that'll put the knee to the test. Crummel again. Taylor goes for a bit of distance. Doesn't get it. Shawball's back there to take the mark. Close to the boundary line. Just kept it in for Russell. Collingwood by 10 points. Short of centre wing. Anthony Rocker was in the chop. It comes to Krasiska. He puts it out in front of the big fella. But Taylor's got it. Clever kick. Treleaven takes the mark. He has Crummell. They came over together from Western Australia. Brendan Crummell for Dunstall. Oh, yes, what a mark.
Yeah, now that is a mark. It's one thing to take the mark, Mick, when you've got a slight advantage. I think he was almost disadvantaged in Dunstall, but still somehow came down with it.
That's a great ability Jason Dunstall's got to keep his balance, even though his 2 feet aren't on the ground.
It's pretty good to take the mark after getting belted around the ears by Brown.
And he pushed his body back hard, and it just was able to knock, as Brown left the ground to leap, it just, the body weight of Dunstall just pushed him back that half a foot. With a terrific good body mark, that one.
He's kicked one already earlier this quarter. 1,201 for the career. 1,202. All he needs to do is get the ball inside the 50, and he's going to threaten this record, isn't he?
Oh, he's got great conversion. He's a beautiful kick for goal. His technique's spot on. But as we see here, the setup from Hawthorn, we see the handball inside. Crummell balanced himself. He assessed his options on the way through.
I don't know whether it was a really good option, Mick, when a mill ball down from Crummell. Dunstall made it a good option.
I don't think the execution was good, but the option was there. The balance was good. He gave himself a chance to kick the ball efficiently.
Apart from just the marking touch, you know, surely he's missed a lot of the pre-season, the practice matches, the body contact. He was contacted a few times that time to still kick a goal from nearly 50. Great effort. Mark Graham kicks it a mile out of the centre circle. The Hawks are right in this now. Shawble. Collingwood lead by just 4 points. Right, good hands. Up to Osborne. Couple of speedsters there, Osborne and
Pretty good today, Osborne. I think he's really given him some run off half-back.
He finished last season really well, and he is looking good. Tried to kick the cover off at that time.
This is a key situation. Graham has just started to hold Buckley just for this last 10 minutes of the game.
Lawrence, good pick up by the big fella. All Hawthorn here. Tony Woods. Across the ground he goes to Kapler. Wright is there for the Pies. Running on it is Burns. Burns to an open goal square. Severio's down there. Courage needed by Graham.
One thing about that matchup, Lee, Graham's playing in territory that he's familiar with. Nathan Buckley hasn't played much at centre-half forward. His impetus of attack has come from when he's in the midfield, and that's the reason why he had 15 or so possessions in the first quarter. He's just started to drift out of this game. It might be an idea to put him back in the midfield.
Probably. It's something a bit like Hurd and Carey. When they go into the centre square, the same player doesn't go with them. I think you have to send the same player with them every second of the game.
Severio Rocker marks, but the free kick has been given away. It's Hawthorn's ball. And he better give it up quickly. It was against Anthony rather than Sav.
Certainly shepherding off the ball. Ball wasn't in within 5 metres.
Severio stands the mark after he took what he claimed was a mark. High to centre wing. Free kick in the back. Advantage might be paid here. Dashing away with it. The hand pass comes up. Hassel from just inside the 50. Dunstall in the goal square. Oh, it landed on its point and bounced back. Brown a hand pass. He gets a high tackle. Free kick to Gavin Brown. Russell. A real game now. Collingwood lead by 4 points. Remember last year, Hawthorn belted them by 53 points when they played at Waverley. 46, Frankie Razzo on the ground for the Pies for his second run. Ball out of play at half forward.
It's Anthony Rocker's come off, Drew.
Crummell for Hawthorn.
And Aaron Lord on.
Well, it's been a much better second quarter by the Hawks. They trailed by 22 at quarter time. Soccer off the ground by Osborne. Good desperation there by the youngster Brad Fuller.
Just on that boundary throw in, Drew, it was interesting to see Steve Lawrence actually went to the left-hand side of Monkhurst. I'd probably go to the other side so he can't. He has to use his left hand and try to get his left shoulder up in the air and see if there is a problem with that left shoulder of his.
So if a bloke is clearly injured, you test him, don't you?
Oh, for sure.
Interesting, just the statistical look at it. Mark Graham's had 7 kicks this quarter. against Nathan Buckley. So he started to get the ball in that one-on-one duel. Shane Crawford started to get a bit of it as well, and Hawthorn are always going to be at their best if Crawford is giving them that real hard run through.
Long-course tap-out was sharked by McCabe, and the ball's gone out of bounds. Free kick against Collingwood. Deliberate or on the full?
Deliberate.
Taylor will take it. Holland is there. Oh, what a mark.
He certainly set himself for that mark, Nick Holland. His aerial judgment was spot on that occasion. He got Andrew Schwalbe underneath the flight of the footy as we watched the ball here. He led into the centre corridor. He had the jump and shot at Andrew Schwalbe, and his judgment got up the ground, got off the ground, and brought the ball down terrifically well.
Well, if Nick Holland can kick straight here, the Hawks will be in front. It didn't seem a likely scenario earlier in this second quarter. And he's put them in front. 2 goals to Holland, 2 goals to Dunstall, and it's 48-46.
And it's interesting that point you made, Mick, about Buckley, who's obviously starting in the centre square every time. And we see here the difference of a player can have a few steps to run and jump. Schwalbe just got caught under the ball, just a bit unfortunate, but Holland a terrific mark and jump. But Buckley's in at the centre square, maybe should stay midfield, do you think?
Yeah, I certainly think that, Lee. He's a ball magnet, and the thing about him, when he's getting the ball centre forward, it seems the supply to Collingwood's front half is so good.
Buckley in there being picked up by Shane Crawford. Bucks has got it, but can't get a possession. Lawrence, well done. Good aggression. Hawthorn have worked pretty hard to get some aggression into Steve Lawrence.
Tried to help the umpire into a free kick. Here has Buckley. The other thing about this too, Lee, they've got 2 players in midfield in Burns and also Williams who haven't had much pre-season. They've had interrupted preparations, and it could become critical in the overall context of this game.
That's a ball burster of a tackle by Steve Lawrence. And now...
Been an off-the-ball incident here, Drew.
Hawthorn free kick in the middle. It's going to Woods.
Against Williams.
Justin Crawford had to wait for it. Now, whistle's gone. The blood rule here. Lawrence might have injured himself in that tackle, but there won't be any time for treatment. There is the siren for half-time. Williams and Osborne really getting into the umpire's ear here about the free kick paid right on the siren.
It is an amazing state of affairs at this point of time, Lee. It's this team that's going to collectively regroup and focus on the basic attention to detail, and that is who's going to be the first of the ball in the next 30 minutes of
This is just the psychology of it, isn't it? Both sides trying to get in the umpire's ear to see if they can just really state their case. In all reality, it makes no difference whatsoever, but try convincing both players of that.
Well, terrific effort in that second quarter. Hawthorn kicked 5 goals to 1 to hit the front just before the siren, and they lead 7-6-48 to 7-4-46. And the second half about to get underway at the MCG. Hawthorn leading by 2 points going into the second hour of football. Paul Salmon still on the bench, although he's moving around the boundary line, trying to warm up. And you can see Damien Monkhorst is also on the bench, just having kicks. He has his shoulder strapped. So the 2 number 1 ruckmen sitting it out to start the second half. It's Anthony Rocker in the ruck against Lawrence. Ball hits the deck in the centre circle. Hawthorn get first use of it through Graham. Up to half forward. Good contest by Holland. Fires out a hand pass. And that will be a ball up right in front and about 35 metres from goal.
I think the main change, Scott Crow has come into the on-ball role, and Williams started on a wing. Whether he's playing there or not, we'll just see what unfolds, but certainly started on the edge of the centre square.
Holland elbowed out of it. A punch down. Comes to Burns. Burns over the centre of the ground. Chick got underneath the ball. Terrific mark by Krasisko, who late last season reached the 200-game milestone. Terrific for a Queenslander. Of course, Dunstall did it before him. Up to the 50. Good mark, Severio.
Well, I think the wind is favouring this end just marginally, and I think he'll kick the distance, Mick. It's only a matter of whether he can kick it straight. And sometimes from these real long kicks, he relaxes and really gets a really good rhythm through his kick.
Yeah, I tend to back him from this distance. I reckon he really does, as you say, relaxes and kicks through the ball. His technique's good, and fair dinkum, he does give it a fair dinkum heave-ho.
Goalless so far. This is close, and hits the post.
We weren't far away, Lee.
We weren't far away. But it's funny, he has a player that when he kicks the ball over 50 metres, I think he gets a really good kicking style. When he kicks from closer in, I think he tends to steer the ball a little.
And seems to choke.
Now, that's a cruel way of saying it, but I thought steering was maybe more pleasant, Mick.
Well, we look straight down the ground at Nathan Chapman as he prepares to kick in for the Hawks. This is a bit of danger on the 50. Well delivered eventually, and Leckus marks. Oh, poor kick in the direction of Hassel. Look who he's got to beat. But he does! He beats Rocker.
Done well.
David beat Goliath.
Oh, but that's what he doesn't do so well.
Buckley made a good spoil of it. Or Williams. It comes to Krasiska, 48 metres out. Here's Paul Williams, who doubled up. He marks, plays on. He's caught. Shouldn't have played on. But he kicks the goal anyway.
The change of direction, Lee, is so important to find a player that is free in space. As soon as you kick it to some sort of congestion in that part of the ground, and as Buckley did, got up, transferred the play with a defensive, disciplined punch back. It's amazing how many times it does land into the hand of a Collingwood player.
Yeah, this was the finish here, and Gavin Krasiska looks like he's playing forward of centre, and really the lucky quick forward. One thing, the ball goes forward. Paul Williams is going to be waiting, but he's a little bit lucky. I don't know why he played on, but it was out on the wing where John Hassel kicked the ball inboard, as you said, Mick, and Couchy, that inboard kick from John Hassel just really went astray.
Yeah, that's the main thing, Lee, but I'm happy to see Nathan Buckley on the ball this time. They lost a bit of run through the midfield there, and I'd like to see Paul Williams down the forward line more often.
Anthony Rocker wins. Buckley gets a giant of a kick out of the centre. It's already to the forward pocket. Well done, Marnie. Here's Sav for his first goal. A fumble, though. And rushed through by the Hawthorn defence as Severio was threatening. Now, Peter McKenna out in the southern stand.
Yeah, it's interesting, Drew, to look at the forward setups. I think the days of the 100-goal full forward are just about gone, because they're lining up with 6 pairs up on the forward 50, and it gets very, very crowded for a set full forward. So you're not going to see those big tallies anymore. I think it's a thing of the past.
Kicks straight up the centre of the ground. Rocker punches down. Patterson is there in a bit of space. Stephen Patterson for goal. Magnificent kick. 2 and 30 seconds for the Pies.
And it was all to do with the knockback again. I think Hawthorn have to learn this one, that at the moment Collingwood are too disciplined on the knockback from that kick in. It was Sav Rocker this time. The long kick in down the centre square, and then the punch back, and all these Collingwood players are free because they're just covering the space in the zone. Good attacking spoil then by Sav Rocker.
Well, it could be a couple of game-busting goals, those by Collingwood. Anthony Rocker in the middle again. Ball helped up the ground by Crow. Taylor gets back. And Leckus out of defence. Williams almost a mark, but he was interfered with by Woods and will take the free.
This is a player that could provide the spark for Collingwood. Woods did have the better of him in the first half, but at this stage of the third quarter, he's starting to get on top of that duel.
Rocker again. And they're starting to have a bit of authority, the two Rocker boys.
This is really just the ball in between two players. And I think really good play by Taylor. Wasn't much point taking possession because he was only going to run straight into the tackle. But I think the thing about Paul Williams is, Mick, a lot of people say he should play as a forward, but he plays as a midfielder running into the forward line. Playing as a permanent forward ahead of the ball is not really something that he's done that well.
Well, he's so dependent on his burst of speed, and that's the reason why he gets up the ground, Lee, and runs into that forward 50 with a bit of, quickness of legs and intensity.
A 52-metre kick, and Rocker gets his first goal. That's 3 in a couple of minutes, and all of a sudden they lead by 18 points.
Yes, an interesting situation. Tony Wood's a very good tagging player, and here we see Rocker when he just leaps and jumps, and that big extension of the arms. He's pretty strong overhead, makes it pretty hard for Chapman, but a good straight kick. But when Paul Williams is out on the wing, it just makes it a little bit harder for Tony Woods to sort of play one-on-one. A lot of space out there for the two players to work in.
Well, they've clawed their way back from behind once so far in this game, Hawthorn. They'll have to do it again. Anthony Rocker really jumping at the centre bounce and doing well in the absence of Monkhorst. It's a Collingwood free kick. It's coming back here to right. Things going the Pies' way. Rocker leads. Beautiful lead. Pressure from Chapman. He gave away the free kick, Nathan Chapman.
Well, it was an interesting situation. It's very hard for the defender who's caught on the lead. It looked like Okaspoil. Well, most of the time that's going to be play on, but every now and again the umpire will reward the player in front. And I guess this is where the critical parts of the game come, to get those free kicks within the 50-metre arc that could go either way.
Well, that last kick, a rehearsal for this one. Same distance, same result. Well, Hawthorn led by 2 points at half-time. And in the opening 6 or 7 minutes, all of a sudden, they find themselves 4 goals down.
Yeah, Collingwood have started to win the ball out of the middle, basically, all of a sudden. And they're pounding the ball in. Rocker's been able to take 1 free kick, 1 mark. And his confidence will be up at this point of the game.
Here we go again. Lawrence and Rocker. Neither ruckman could clear the area. Crow fires out a hand pass to Buckley, and Collingwood going forward again. Hawthorn's defence under siege. Chapman. Just gets the hand pass out. Krasiska is there. The umpire's whistle's gone. It's going to be a free kick to Chapman. Ex-Brisbane Lion player finding himself back home in Melbourne. Playing his first game for Hawthorn today with John Barker, who was also at Brisbane last year. Also Trent Crode from the Dandenong Stingrays. Chapman gains himself some ground. Kicks in the direction of Buckley, which isn't too smart. And Buckley got rid of Hassel so easily. Nathan Buckley in the direction of Rocker. Chapman has to do it again. No whistle. Severio taps the ball back to Krasiska. It's taken by Lord, who's been a good player. Kick by Aaron Lord. Oh, straight to Buckley. He'd be the last person out of the 36 you'd want to give it to. Because look at the disposal to Graham Wright. In between wing and half forward. Goes for plenty of distance. In the forward pocket. Marnie just took the ball over the line. We'll have a throw.
I think basically Buckley's role in the first half was to play midfield forward. Now I think he's just going to play as a genuine midfielder. And of course Mark Graham, who's a halfback, has actually come out with him. All of a sudden the positioning is probably where Buckley is more suited.
Well, Severio starting to work into the game. Finds Buckley, who's burning. Centering kick. Knocked away. Still a chance for the Pies, but taken by Lord once more. Has to just get rid of the kick to open spaces. Osborne is there with Justin Crawford. Good contest between 2 players, going hard for the ball. And all that happens out of it is a boundary throw.
I think Buckley also gives Collingwood a sense of purpose and also direction once he's in that part of the ground, Lee. I think they do need a general, someone who can steady the ship, especially when the tide went against him in the second quarter. Now Buckley's in the midfield, he'll provide that.
Wright gets the hand pass away to Crow. Tries to steer the ball to the forward line. Well, it comes down off a punch away to Williams. It bounces in the goal square, but won't go through for a score. Chapman, you're in heaps of bother. Oh, Tallis, look out. And a bit going on outside the field of play between Tallis and Marnie. The Hawks at 6s and 7s at the moment. Lawrence palms the ball down to Chapman. Kicked at 100 metres. 50 up, 50 down. Krasiska.
And started the third quarter exceptionally well, Gavin Krasiska.
Out in front of goals. Rocker is there. Can't come down with it this time. Williams. The ball up. Well, already Hawthorn have Salmon injured. And here is Chick not looking too good.
And Krasiska leaving the field. Surely that couldn't be for any other reason but injury. We'll get Paul Couse to check on that.
No, Tony Shaw's just got him on the phone there, Lee. I think it's just instructions. I don't think there's any injury there.
Razzo comes on for Collingwood, playing in his first game, Frankie Razzo. Chick seeing stars at the moment. He's gone to the bench. Mark Graham. Two real long kickers playing on each other here. Graham and Buckley. And that ball has bounced over Kapler, out of bounds.
That's where the game changes, doesn't it? All of a sudden, Kapler, if the ball had just bounced up into his hands, he's had 50 metres of spare space, vacant space in front of him. But Hawthorn have really just stopped this third quarter at the moment, just being dominated by Collingwood.
Yes, we're 12 minutes into the third quarter and Collingwood have blitzed away. Here's Scott Crow. Well done by Burns. Crow again, caught by Taylor. Burns paddles the ball on well for Watson. Good tackling by the Hawks. It's a Hawthorn, it's a Collingwood free. It's got to come back to Burns on the 50. Collingwood fans want a 50-metre penalty.
May have injured a shoulder too, Scott Burns, in his attempt and in his endeavour to hit the ball on there.
Got a feeling an arm.
So Burns, who was awarded the free, won't be able to take it.
Is that a broken arm, or is that bone normally that crooked?
Paul Salmon's just come on for Steve Lawrence there too, Lee.
Well, he's not fit, Paul Salmon, but they desperately need their best and fairest to stem this tide. And I must admit that when Hawthorn came back late in the second quarter, that was when Salmon was off. Here's Williams. Kicks long, but slightly left.
Just on ground level here, boys, the Collingwood players are playing a lot more confidence and purpose here. They've really got to run on here. It's going to be hard to stop from here on in.
And here is the injury to Scott Burns. He knocked the ball on and had that head-on collision with Taylor. And that might require plaster of Paris yet. Chapman kicks it in a country kilometre. Ball flipped over the back.
They've been trying to do that, Drew. That's the play they've been trying to do. But Hawthorn have been, Collingwood, I should say, normally been punching it back.
Kapler's kicked to full forward. Comes to the front of the pack. There is a chance here. Barker. Johnny Barker.
Well, how often do we see that, Lee? The forward player in the zone area doesn't get up and do the disciplined thing. What Severio Rocky had the opportunity to get up and do one of those attacking defensive punch backs. He didn't do it, went for the mark. All of a sudden it goes over the top. Crawford runs onto it, gets the ball inside to Kapler. Is a penetrating kick on the run. Kicks the ball to a designated spot in the Hawthorn forward line. Comes to ground, picked up, goes to his left side and kicks a goal.
Well, that breaks a drought for Hawthorn. Long time between goals. Badly needed that one. Burns, what's his report, Couchy?
It's no break there, Drew. It's just a sprain. I think he's just got a hit with a clash of arms there, and it's just a bit sore, but it's okay. No break.
Good on you. Kick by Buckley to Rocker. And he's got it.
And that at this point in Collingwood have gone into their forward 50 13 times this quarter to Hawthorn's 2. That goal of Barker kick was certainly efficient because they're not getting down there, Hawthorn. It's Collingwood. The game is being played in the Collingwood forward half.
And there goes Scott Burns making an undignified exit. Got to walk all the way around the boundary line to the dressing room in the southern stand.
Well, he's kicked his last 2. He's got to be good odds to kick this straight again. 50-metre marks are going to be no problem for Sav Rocker.
He kicked 16 in the first 2 rounds last year. Started with 6 and 10. But he sprayed this one to the right. So today that is 2 goals 3.
And again, he didn't kick the ball hard enough. He's one of those players who has to really kick the ball firmly. And I think that occasion was just a different kicking action if we analyse it compared to the other 2 goals where he just really didn't kick solidly through the line of the ball.
Chapman will kick through the line of it. Watch this one go into orbit. Anthony Rocker from behind. Salmon gets a hand to it. Comes down the front. Up near centre wing. They can't stop Buckley getting the ball at the moment. His hand pass into Shawble. Surely he was tackled when he didn't quite have it, but Crawford's in there to grab it. Osborne marks defensively at centre half back. Round the corner he goes. Well, you call him a magnet, and he's proven to be a magnet, isn't he, Bucks?
Yeah, well, he can control the midfield. He knows when to run to space, and he's so effective in finding the holes so people can find him on the way out.
Good kick up to half forward. Sav almost took another one. Hay, Krasiska floats a hand pass over. Taylor does well. Collingwood fans want it for deliberate. Crowd about mid-40s, I reckon, here at the MCG. So a bit of a test for twilight football, the success of it. 51,000 watched them play last year at Waverley, and I think the AFL might have wanted a few more than mid-40s or high 40s. Well, let's hope there's a huge television audience. You people at home will be the gauge of success.
I was going to say, Drew, the Collingwood half-back line is just playing in front, coming to meet the ball, and that's the result. Anthony Rock has marked the ball, but it was really initiated by Richard Osborne, Andrew Shawble across half-back, who got the front position, but just a high loon. The two Rockers alongside each other, two big imposing men if their confidence is up and they're marking the ball.
Well, this is a stab kick for Anthony Rocker from here. Man on the mark right in front, 35 metres out from goal. He's got it. Well, that's his first goal, but the Rockers between them have kicked 3 this quarter.
He's been quite enthusiastic since the Damien Monkhurst injury. He's come on to replace Monkhurst, and he's provided something for Collingwood. He's played the percentage time, when to drift forward, as we see here. He is the ruckman at this point of time, but he's drifted forward, knowing that there was space to get in there, and his judgment was spot on that occasion.
After a steadier by Hawthorn, once again the Pies skip out to a 26-point lead. Shane Crawford across to Lord. Williams at the foot of the pack. One thing in the game you can't replace is pace, and he had it there, but he gave the ball up pretty easily. Floats a hand pass across. Now it's with Taylor. Left footer to the goal square. Crowd in his first game.
Free kick here might be against Gavin Brown for holding actually Jason Dunstall.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation. I think certainly the bodies are into each other, but I guess Crowd marked the ball. It's a matter of who gets the goal against their name, Crowd or Dunstall.
Well, Crowd wouldn't have minded a goal in his first game, but Dunstall is going for his third.
Well, it's a pretty efficient scoring by Hawthorn. That's keeping them within Cooey on the scoreboard. They've only gone forward a handful of times, and they've got a couple of goals. It's interesting at the moment. It was just really a flurry of possessions. We'll see here, Brown v Dunstall. Craig was the spare man. He marked the ball. I guess if they were really unlucky, Hawthorn, the Shepherd could have been paid, but it really wasn't. But Leckis is now on Buckley in the centre square. I think Hawthorn decided, well, if Buckley's going to play centre square, Leckis will be on him. But this would probably be the opportunity where Tony Shaw will be trained to Buckley, try and get in towards half forward and play the type of role we planned for you before the game began.
20 points the margin. It comes to Crawford. Kick by Shane Crawford. Right on the chest of Barker. John Barker can make a bit of an impression. He kicked one earlier this quarter for his new club.
There's no wind usually, or the wind doesn't usually affect the play at the MCG, but I've got a feeling that all the scoring has been to the left of screen, the direction that Collingwood are kicking to.
Good distance with the kick, but away to the left.
Just a good argument, boys, for the 4 interchange bench with Monkhurst injured and Burns, so Kevin Chetty's got his way there, and even Gibson's got a head injury, so with 2 out of the 4 injured for Collingwood, it's good to see the 4 interchange bench being used.
Monkhurst patrolling the interchange gate as though he's desperate to come back on. Kick straight up the centre of the ground. Salmon a good spoil. It comes to Chick. He bursts the tackle. The kick by Chick high to the goal square. Dunstall gets back. Crowd. Hassel. In he comes. Crummel's hand pass to the goal square. Dunstall hits it very hard but loses out. Russell, good hand pass. Shawble a fumble. Eventually they're out of it. Patterson to Osborne. Buckley in the centre of the ground. He's got it again. He is a freak. Russell. Russell to Rocker. Well, Buckley had no right to win a possession really in that mess up in the middle.
The old saying, Drew, when you're hot, you're hot. The ball fell in his path, even though it didn't look like it would. But Buckley gave something out of nothing, gave a short, quick handball in close, gave Russell the time and space to use the ball effectively and found Rocker.
A booming kick by Sav Rocker. But to get the distance, he had to hook it.
Anthony Rocker off for Damien Monkhurst is back in the ruck.
Percentages are a great thing in football, Lee. He's had 4 shots from around the 50-metre mark, kicked 2, missed 2. It just goes to show that the more opportunities you get from scoring goals outside 50, you have to be an A1 kick to increase your intensity and also get the goals on the board.
Yeah, a lot of long shots is going to end up a lot of long behinds, you know, on average.
2 goals, 4 total today. Chapman's kick into Hay. Jonathan Hay played 4 games last year. Kick up towards the centre wing. Monkhorst in the middle of the pack. Prestigiacomo to Buckley. Sav Rocker well down the ground. Crow, good mark. Bit of a contract dispute with the club in the off-season, but going well. Here's Gibson back on with a bandaged head. We saw him have the staples in the first half, and he looked as though he stapled the ball to his hands then. Kick by Gibson to the goal square. McDonald and Salmon with the height gets back to spoil.
Pretty low position kick that. Gibson is now playing in that forward pocket, leading forward pocket role for Collingwood. He actually played that role for the majority of last year for Hawthorn when Jason Dunstall was out injured in that latter part.
Hawthorn is certainly at the stage of the game where they need some midfield spark. Probably a player like Crawford has to provide that.
And Hawthorn again setting in all their numbers down the centre corridor for this long kick in. Well, it hasn't worked up till now.
Umpire telling Chapman to get on with it. Oh, he's going to lose it.
The too optimistic Hawthorn, they're trying to set up for the long kick down the middle. And all day Collingwood have looked, they've got Rocker and Monkhurst. They've got their big fellas back there punching it back. And I'm afraid Chapman just took too long to think about it.
Sav Rocker got back there to cover Salmon, and that blocked off his main option. Here's Buckley again. Hand pass astray this time, but he might win another possession out of it. He's lost it. Graham's hand pass up the ground. Right for the Pies. Beats the tackle, which was high. Then he kicks out of bounds.
Yeah, bad sign for Hawthorn, that missed tackle. Actually making your tackles count and holding on to them rather than getting them broken. And just at the moment, the Collingwood players are tending to break the Hawthorn tackle.
Luke McCabe with the free kick into play. Late in the third quarter, and Collingwood has stolen a bit of a march on the Hawks in this term. But Salmon marks uncontested. Damaged the groin in the first half, certainly not 100% fit. Hay. Lekkas, good hand pass. Chapman well up the ground. He's kicked to half forward. Holland. Crummer's needed. And they have one in Chick. Dunstall with Brown in the goal square. Offline.
Yes, I think you're right, Mick. Shane Crawford is the player that they're looking for to get their hands on the ball, Hawthorn. He's just faded out of the game a little bit. In that second quarter when they had their surge, he was getting a fair bit of the ball, but just in this quarter, he's just really being held, and they just haven't got a lot of midfield run, and they just need it from the 2 or 3 who are capable of giving that.
Boy, they took it off Chapman a minute ago, nearly took it off Richardson. Oh, it goes through the legs of Salmon. Here's Monkhorst. Has damaged the shoulder. We're sure he's had painkillers. I think he had no feel in the left arm there. Ball comes out. Tallis. Barker. Crode. And Crode playing in his first game. High leaping, key position player in the under-18s. They've got men free down here in the forward pocket, and Aaron Lord has taken the mark. But don't like his angle to goal.
No, it's a tight angle, isn't it?
In this situation, Aaron Lord should really assess his options. You know, quite often a player can get free in this part of the ground if he looks inside and delivers a short 15 to 20 metre kick. as on this occasion.
And he's done that well.
That is
Taylor.
the thing, isn't it, Mick? Don't panic. Don't think you have to kick it quickly and assess the options, as you say. It was really good, patient play and a good setup.
So Richard Taylor with a much better shot at goal.
It's amazing. He's probably, maybe only 10 metres further in from the boundary line, but it just opens the angle up enormously.
And we've got a great view of it from over his shoulder. They needed that. Taylor's second, and the margin just 14 points.
And that's what teamwork's all about, Drew. You know, you can, irrespective, it doesn't matter who kicks the goals for the Hawthorn team, but Aaron Lord unselfishly gave the ball into the centre corridor, just opened up the angle as Lee spoke about, and gave Taylor a greater percentage shot to kick a goal.
It's probably, you'd say Lord's was probably about, he would have had maybe a 30% chance of kicking it. Taylor probably ends up with about a 70% chance.
Lights on here at the MCG for twilight football. And when the next twilight football game is played, it'll be a lot darker at this time because daylight saving finishes tomorrow. Patterson gets it going forward for Collingwood. Watson hit the ball very hard. Buckley has had a heap of the ball in this turn. High ball to Rocker. Comes to the front. Well done, McCabe. Graham Wright wants the boundary line. That'll do him.
Probably played the percentage thing there, Graham Wright. He knew that he was under pressure. He just forced the ball out, kept the ball in the Collingwood scoring zone, and just put the ball out of bounds to live to fight another day.
Both teams knocked out in the first round of the Ansett Cup. They've gone on the practice match circuit. Now they're playing for 4 points. Wright's kick sits up for Rocker. Goal. Three in the quarter to Big Sam.
Got to hold your feet. It's a simple principle in football. As soon as you go to ground, if your opponent's still on his feet, he's going to beat you for the ball. And on that occasion, Chapman just wasn't able to do it. It was just a body strength. We see the right kick in here. And when the ball hit and bounced, well, it was going to go anywhere, wasn't it, Mick? But just tripped over, just a bit too anxious and didn't really cover the percentage side, Chapman.
Also the important thing at the boundary throw in, Richard Taylor went to the contest, the ruck contest, didn't play goal side of Graham Wright, gave him a little bit of time and space, enough to give him a quick kick forward, and on the end of it was Sav Rocker.
Just over 2.5 minutes remaining to three-quarter time. Neither ruckman 100% fit. But Salmon comes out with the ball, puts it out in front of Lord. They desperately need to finish with a goal or two. Hawthorn, kicked by Lord. Good effort by Hassel.
Well, I think the one area we thought early in the game that Nick Holland might just have too much running ability across half-back for Andrew Shawble, but it certainly hasn't worked out that way. Peter McKenna, Nick Holland really has been struggling a little.
Lee, I can't have this, having 6 groups of 2 when you're bursting out of the centre, no one on the lead, and they're kicking to contest every time, Hawthorn. I'd give Dunstall a go, one out for a little while and get the other forwards up the ground. Give him a go against Brown one-on-one.
Holland in a bit of trouble there. Chick's hand pass. Oh, Shawble stolen. Twilight robbery. Rocker. He's still in this contest with Graham. Well done, Mark Graham. Watson there first. Slings the hand pass in, but it's all Hawthorn. Taylor overruns it. Krasiska's there. Richard Taylor again. Too high for Graham. Crow. And a dive unsuccessful by Gibson. Ken Judge going crook up there in the top left-hand corner.
Just grab and kick it. You can't just grab the ball out of the defensive 50 and just kick it. You've got to, when you've got time, you've got to balance and settle and set it up.
Good penetration on Crow's kick. Good mark by Salmon. We think it's a groin that's troubling him. Spent a fair bit of time on the bench. Raiden Tallis, crew cut last year, long blonde this year. Kicked by Tallis towards centre wing. Lord! He's played very well. Concedes 20 to Tallis. Crow gets underneath the ball. Shane Crawford. Dunstall on the lead. No mark. Here's Crowd again. Left footer into space. Crumble. Again, no mark. Prestigiacomo's there with him.
The half chances. I mean, really, there's not too many players would have had the speed, I think, just to get there to spoil Dunstall, and Brown had that. And then that quick kick in, it just landed again at the feet of Crummell. It's just the luck's just not quite going with the Hawks.
Chris Connolly front row in the Hawthorn coaching box. Hassel did well to beat off his man. Shoots for goal. And kicks left.
Not a finisher, Johnny Hassel. He's a good, long, hard runner, but his disposal skills have always been that thing that's probably preventing him from being quite a good league player. He's been able to play plenty of league football, but just the ability to finish with hand and foot, not quite as good as a lot would like.
9 seconds left. 3 goals the margin. Can Hawthorn grab the ball and kick one before the siren? It looks not. Gavin Brown has played on Dunstall all day. The opposing skippers standing each other. And there's the siren for three-quarter time. Dunstall has kicked 3 at one end. Severio Rocca's kicked 3 at the other end. Severio's 3 all came in that third quarter. And Collingwood, who trailed at half-time by 2, lead at three-quarter time by 18. 13-10, 88 to 10-10, 70. And here's Tony Shaw speaking in pretty lively fashion to Damien Monkhorst, who spent time on the bench, went into the rooms, and we're pretty sure he got a jab. So what sort of message could you give an injured war horse like that at three-quarter time?
Well, I'm not a lip reader, so I'm not sure what that message is, Drew.
Salmon wins out of the middle. If they get the first goal, we've got a contest. And just as Lord was dashing away with it, the whistle's gone.
Free kick against Buckley for holding Lekas.
So Angelo Lekas will take the free just forward of the centre circle.
It's a crowded group they're kicking to. I don't know why Hawthorn is setting it up so crowded down there.
Well done, Hassel. Couldn't get boot to ball. Crummell floats a hand pass. I'm glad it's you under there, Woods, and not me. Lord, similar for you. Crowed in his first game. Oh, he's missed it.
It's one of those situations. He kicked on his natural right foot from a very acute angle. Maybe he just should have headed for the front of the goal square, the top of the goal square, and just hooked it across left foot. Would have been, in the end, a simpler shot.
Peter McKenna, what do you think about that crowded forward line?
Well, I said that just before three-quarter time. I agree with Lee. When you're coming down the ground, you need an option. You need someone leading. All they can do when they look up, they see this pack of players. As I said, there are 6 lots of 2 inside 50, and it's very, very difficult for forwards under those situations.
Margin 17 points in favour of Collingwood. Kick by Williams to half forward. Monkhorst came from behind. Holland in front. Man in front paid.
This is the man that might generate the lift for Hawthorn.
Nick Holland, their leading goal scorer last year. Didn't get to 30, though, after Dunstall had won it about 11 years in a row. Comes down to Richard Osborne. Through the middle he goes. Just as well there was plenty of time. It's on the bounce to Patterson. Slightly off the side of the boot out wide. Rocca gets a bad bounce. Tallis gets a bad bounce. Marnie for Collingwood. Gave it straight up to Lekas. Back to Tallis. And open territory. Crummell with Osborne. Osborne goes to ground, and so does Crummell, and the ball beats them both out of play.
So important again. We mention it all the time of keeping your feet. There was a lot of pressure on both players. Well, once Osborne went to ground, Crummell only had to keep his feet, but he too hit the deck.
Hope you're enjoying your new viewing pattern with twilight football from the MCG. Buckley with a big run at them from behind. Ball knocked out of bounds by Crawford. Crawford wanting a free against Osborne.
It's interesting the Hawthorn forward set up here, Drew. There's a boundary throw in here about 70 metres from the Hawthorn goal. They've got 5 pairings of players inside the forward 40 metres. Surely they need some space for Dunstall to lead into.
Free kick against Salmon to Monkhorst for the ruck infringement.
Yes, you're setting up a pack marking situation, really. There's just no space for forwards to actually move into.
Francisco, I thought dragged down by the arm by Chick. No whistle on the play. Francisco again to Rocca. Oh, great mark.
That's making the ball your own, isn't it, really? There again, the 50-50 chance. They both had the run of the ball, but not only that, he cleaned up the bloke in front of him. And I think this is what Sav Rocker has to do. You're a big, strong man. You've got to attack the ball in the manner that makes anyone standing in your way think that maybe he's coming.
Poor Graham.
Mark Graham, yeah, was the one who copped it then.
Now, was he hurt in the air as Sav went for it, or did Sav then land on him?
I guess it's
Just the conditions on the ground here. They've certainly dried up the ground, and it's made it a lot easier for the players to pick the ball off the ground now.
Oh, Graham ruining the day. Ever ran into Sav?
I'll say something when I get a chance, mate.
Go on. You've got a chance now, Pete.
Oh, sorry, Drew. I think Hawthorn should think about moving Chapman. You could always put Lawrence. He's big enough and fast enough to play on Rocker.
Rocker's kick 4.
Yes, as I mentioned there, I think there's one thing known in football. What's the most dangerous job in football is standing 15 metres in front of Tony Lockett's lead. And I think Sav Rocker has to try and get that same kind of respect from players, that if he's in the front, he's going to attack the ball hard. He's going for the ball, but he's just big body and his big momentum makes it pretty dangerous for the guy in front of him. They won't back so quick.
23 points. So there haven't been all that many goals kicked at the right-hand end. That's an important one for Collingwood. That's just the 7th for the game. Crawford on the chest of Crode. Crode goes for distance, offline. Dunstall. Now, is that in the field of play? Yes, the mark paid.
Now, I think everyone in the ground probably knows what Jason Dunstall's going to do here. He'll go back, he'll take his time, and he'll just try and maybe get 2 or 3 metres inside just to hook the ball across his body. It's a tough kick, but if he thinks his way through it as he does, it's just execution.
Oh, champion goal from a champion player. You knew he was going to do it. The Collingwood blokes knew he was going to do it, but he still did it.
No, well, that's right. Yeah, you can't do anything about it. The guy that is actually covering that inside has to be 10 metres away. So really, as we saw Dunstall, and it's just really close to the behind line, or the goal line, I should say. But it's just a well-executed goal. One that Dunstall has probably kicked that type of goal many, many times. Mick, and he's now 3 goals in league football. 1204th that was.
6 kicks, 4 goals for Jason Dunstall. And we thought we mightn't see him back playing. Salmon wins in the middle. Lord gets tackled high. Advantage played to Hawthorn or not? No, it's coming back.
Maybe we see the umpires just this year are not going to be as lenient with the advantage, that really they're going to be a bit more careful, that in fact not paying too much of an advantage.
Kick by Lord. Comes to Crawford. He's thrown to the ground. He hasn't got it. Well, margin 17 points.
Well, what do you think, Mick? He's going to be kicking from the 50-metre mark. Again, the percentages are, it's hard to keep it online, but it's so critical in the context of the game. This one time you can.
All the same, Lee, Hawthorn's discipline in trying to keep a hole in that sort of 30 metres out from goal. Maybe Dunstall or some forward player can run into this hole. All he has to do is hold it. He's gone for the transfer of play on this occasion.
So Aaron Lord's further from goal, but in midfield. Now there's a chance. And a good mark too. Dragged down by Angelo Lekis.
That's all you have to do. It's amazing. Midfielders can often drift forward and play the percentage spot, wait and just let the ball carrier hold the ball up for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds, whatever it takes. That's exactly what Aaron Lord did. He held the ball up, Lekis drifted forward, fell into the hole, and it was poor checking by the Collingwood defence.
Lekis away to the right. Ooh, they really needed that from a set shot 40 metres out.
Probably the only mistake Nathan Buckley's made for the game, because he would have been Lekis' direct opponent and just lost concentration, didn't man up at that point.
And that would be a drill that they'd work out at Glenferrie Oval and bring to the MCG on match day.
Well, just the principle of trying to give it to a player to have a set shot closer to goal on the 50-metre mark, no doubt about that. But then apart from that, it's a question of just waiting for the holes to open up.
Richardson kicks in straight up the ground. And good mark by Andrew Shawble, centre half back. Wide for Patterson. Now they've got some players in some space. Thumps it long in the direction of Rocker, and why not? It doesn't reach him this time. Crum is needed. Off the ground by Tallis. Anthony Rocker. Oh, he went for the talk. And I think he let ambition get in the way of ability
He
there.
surely wasn't trying to do a torp on the run. I think it just fell that way. I wouldn't possibly think he's trying to do that. Hard enough to do a torp from a set shot and when you're going flat out.
Well, a bit sure he'll be asking. Back short of centre wing. Rocker's here again with Salmon. Salmon just cleared a path for the ball to get through. Clever play. Quick exchange of hand passing. Lord had a lot of leather today. McKay. High ball. Shane Crawford camped underneath it. No mark. It comes down to a Chick in the forward pocket. Brown happy to see it out. Have a look at Anthony Rocker here.
Let's have a look. Was this a torp? I think it was a torp. That is ambitious. Went exactly where the majority of that type of kick will go. Straight off the right side of your boot. Out of bounds.
Chance for the Hawks in the forward pocket. Richardson just gets rid of it. Wright missed with his kick. Woods. Dunstall, one out with Brown. Almost to Dunstall. Brown did very, very well. Krasiska around the boundary line. Clever kick.
Admittedly, Jason Dunstall's kicked 4, Lee, but one thing Gavin Brown's done all day is sort of given that 1 or 2 metre space, so he hasn't made a real body-on-body contest in the last minute, lunge forward and make his presence felt and trying to spoil the hands of Dunstall or trying to knock the ball away.
He's made the most of his opportunities, really, Dunstall. Only had 6 kicks and 4 marks and kicked 4 goals. Right,
Dispossessed by Lord. Is Anthony Rocker. It was a torpedo hand pass. Prestigiacomo. Gee, Chapman got up a mile to get on the shoulders of Rocker. And there's an accidental trip. And the free kick to Hawthorn will be taken by Chick. Judge.
I think that's a relaxed man. That's a stressed man. And why not? This game is in the balance, and really Hawthorn just have to get the next goal because they're... and that's exactly what he didn't want to happen.
Chick slipped over, allowed Marnie in, and now Buckley has it.
That's Smother.
Top smother. Lekas. Graham round the boundary line. Awkward for Tallis. Great mark, Gavin Krasiska.
A fantastic second half, Gavin Krasiska. He's really come out. I thought he set him alight at the start of the third quarter. Been very good.
Right.
Collingwood just need Paul Williams to lift here. He's been well blanketed by Tony Woods, and Nathan Buckley has been quiet the last 5-10 minutes.
Bounces off McDonald, who started the game with 2 goals in the first quarter. Prestigiacomo, well, perhaps a lucky kick. It comes off Patterson down to Anthony Rocker, and further up the grounder, Buckley.
And that's exactly, I suppose, we spoke about that in the third quarter, that as soon as Lekas gets on to Buckley, well, then Buckley's going to play midfield forward, as it was when Graham was on him, and Graham had done fairly well across half-back when Buckley was there, but then Buckley stayed in midfield, and when you're that kind of player, that's a really good leap and jump, isn't it?
Well, Ken Judge feeling the pressure as Buckley kicks for goal. That is perfect. Well, they might be hard to run down from here. 22 points in front.
Yes, and I think we spoke about it all day. Peter McKenna has mentioned it ad nauseum, but Hawthorn continue to have a lot of players in their forward 50. They have to kick 4 goals to win the game. I'd be inclined to clear it out, either put Holland down there, Dunstall down there, push all the others up at midfield. That's the only way they're going to kick 4 or 5 goals to have a chance of winning the game.
So Collingwood have hit the ton, and Hawthorn find themselves 22 points behind. It'll be pretty tough to overrun the Pies now. Crawford working very hard in midfield. Krasiska, and that'll be a ball up. Saw the anguish on the face of Hawthorn coach Ken Judge, a bit like what must have happened last year when after 14 rounds they were 5th on the ladder and lost their last 8 games to finish 15th. Plenty of anguish on Tony Shaw as well. Collingwood last year lost 6 straight in the middle of the year.
That's the Hawthorn forward 50. They've got that many players in there. 4 Hawthorn players, 4 Collingwood players. No wonder there's no space. You have to kick it to congestion.
Free kick to Anthony Rocker. He goes with a mighty kick. Off McDonald. Chick. Back to the centre square. Prestigiacomo to Patterson. Out wide to the forward pocket. It's too far for Crow. Crow off the left. Poster. So Hawthorn still within 4 goals. Nathan Chapman, the former Brisbane Lion, kicks in short to Richard Taylor. 23 points the margin Collingwood's way. Braden Tallis. He looks as though he shared a bottle with Shane Crawford.
Been kick, hasn't it? They haven't been able to get any real motion through their play through half-back and midfield.
Taylor's kick, punch away by Buckley. And Leckers can't keep it in.
They certainly need someone to stand up and be prepared, similar to what Anthony Stevens did last night, Lee. Really show some intensity in their run and run the lines, because at this stage it's very static in their play and in their approach into their forward line.
I think the last roll of the dice, Mark Graham is going to the half-forward line just to see if they can get a player to get the ball in that part of the ground.
McDonald did well. Francisco finds Rocker. But Hawthorn come up with it. Chapman. Lord. And unmarked is McDonald on centre wing to turn it over and kick to centre half forward. His kick is not great. Oh, McCabe did well to spin out of trouble. Good delivery. Aaron Lord with space in the middle. Chance for Hawthorn now. Taylor. Dunstall caught behind Brown. Rover wanted. Patterson's the rover for Collingwood to right. Handball too high for Osborne. Johnny Barker there. Former Fitzroy in Brisbane. And pass nowhere. Patterson again. Good pressure by Crawford. The ball out of play.
Followed up well, Patterson then.
Anthony Rocker in ruck against Salmon, whom we believe is struggling with a groin problem. Comes down to Treleaven. Osborne almost pushed into that. Centering kick, McDonald on his own again. Former Hawthorn player. McDonald inside the 50. Oh, Buckley over the top. Play on! Well, now have a look at Bucks' reaction here.
Yes, he certainly came down with it, and he had a pretty good purchase of it. Well, geez, the Cadbury's mark of the year may have been Nathan Buckley's, but the umpire didn't see it that way.
The crowd just saw it on the scoreboard, and listen to the Collingwood fans. About 50,000 here at the MCG. Right, great mark. Kick by Graham Wright. Down towards the pocket. Sav Rocker, who struggled to get into it in the first half, but hasn't he gone off like a firecracker after half-time?
I must say, you see him standing alongside Nathan Chapman. He's a fair bit bigger, and when he's able to get a free access to leap at the ball, it's pretty tough to Chapman. So he just hasn't got anywhere near the height, Chapman, to get up to spoil the ball.
Height and strength become such a critical factor late in the game, and as we've seen in the second half, Rocker has certainly supplied that.
He's kicked 4 goals, 4. Well, it's close. It's very close. Margin exactly 4 goals. Hawthorn are going to the scoring end, but they've used up more than half of the quarter to go behind.
One thing Hawthorn haven't really done, Drew, has been able to pierce the zone defence of the Collingwood defence.
Well, this is a hope. This is just a direct to a contest, not even a contest. 2 versus 1, the 2-1.
Anthony Rocker on the chest of Scott Crow.
Yes, I think from memory, I reckon Collingwood have probably kicked 2, if not 3 goals directly attributable to the Hawthorn defensive kick-in, not being able to clear that zone, and Collingwood gaining possession on that first or second disposal or the punch back to the free ground level players.
So Crow now to kick for goal from about 42 metres. Make it mighty hard for Hawthorn with just 8 minutes left. Great kick.
have a look at this kick in. I'm just not sure what Chapman's doing. It was a half kick in, probably aimed at Salmon, but he wasn't on his own. Whoever the ball went to, there was going to be a genuine contest. And as it was, one mark, short chip kick, goal. Makes the game very hard to salvage.
Well, against the trend of the game, Collingwood have kicked 3 goals to 1 in the first half of this final quarter. Most of the scoring's been done at the left-hand end. Collingwood finishing full of running. But here's Shane Crawford for Hawthorn, out into open space. Williams and Kapler, well hauled in by Paul Williams. Right, couldn't quite. Back for Osborne, smothered off his boot by Taylor.
Richard Osborne's been pretty defensive, mentioned pretty impressive, I should say, in defence. Started his career, of course, as a half-back flanker with Fitzroy a fair few years ago now. Played mostly forward in recent years, but bit of a new lease of life across that half-back line.
Hassel going hard at it and hassling Scott Russell out of the ball.
He certainly gives Collingwood a sense of poise and sort of surety across that half-back line, because he is a great deliverer of the ball. It's amazing how he can turn defence into attack by a great ball user across that half-back line.
Anthony Rocker palms the ball down. Kapler, most of the day on the bench for Hawthorn. Crawford, working hard in the clinches. Williams, they just seem to have the numbers, the Pies. Here's one out, Buckley. He'd back him every time against Leckis. A ball magnet, as Mick McGuan called him earlier on. Well, Leckis did well to get it away from him. A throw in. Well, after Collingwood finished 10th last year, having lost 6 straight in the middle of the season, they'll be pleased to start this year with the points against Hawthorn, who gave them an absolute toweling last year at Waverley. Won by 53 points. Richard Taylor making his case for a free kick. Once again, Hawthorn find themselves in the defensive 50. And battling. Anthony Rocket of McDonald, who kicks offline and doesn't score. I think we gave him Anthony McDonald. Alex McDonald, of course. 3 brothers playing league football. This one at Collingwood, 2 more at Melbourne. Here's McDonald for another go. Offline for a minor score.
As you mentioned, I think Nick Holland hasn't really been able to exert much influence against Andrew Shaw, but I wonder whether Hawthorn had to think about throwing him into the ball. Might be a bit late now, but just to get a mobile ruckman. I thought for a while there, when Lawrence went in the second quarter and he was fresh and gave them a bit of mobility, they probably were better for it. And Paul Salmon, I think he just looks very lumbery at most parts of this game.
Well, Sav busted the pack right up, and here's brother Anthony going for a long shot. What a kick! Combination by the Rocker boys.
And the Magpie crowd are up now, and the Crumming goal. We catches a Crumming goal, but he can kick the ball a long way, can't he? Anthony Rocker, and a terrific finish. The spirits are up now for Collingwood. They've got the game, and they're all enjoying this last 10 minutes.
Well, he didn't need the torp on the run to get the distance. Collingwood looking home now. Couchy. No, didn't hear from Paul Couch. Salmon goes. Yeah, go on.
Scott Burns hasn't got a suspected broken arm. He's just got a bit of a sprain and should be right for next week. And Munko's crook left shoulder still sore.
Collingwood running rampant through the middle now. Severio. Might be a free kick off the ball. It's not Severio's. It's going to be Watson. And Watson pokes it out short. Scott Crowe followed up to take the mark. Well, Hawthorn have finished this game like they finished last season. They led by 2 points at half-time. And they're going to go down by a fair bit. Last year, they were 5th after 14 round and lost their last 8 in a row to finish 15th. Kick by Crow is good. Aren't the Pies fans loving this? Well, the previous goal to Scott Crow were the 2 Rocker boys. Severio, crunch. It comes down to Anthony, and what a goal.
And again, we've ended up at the end of the game here. Collingwood have already kicked 18 goals. They are a high-scoring team. They were the 3rd highest-scoring team in the competition last year, despite finishing down in 10th position. When they get control of the game, they really know how to put it on the scoreboard.
A marauding final turn by the Magpies here. Knocked up by Crow. Buckley gets rid of his opponent. Leckus grabs the football. 4 1/4 minutes left. And I reckon the Hawks can't hear the siren soon enough. Salmon having to do the work of a rover. And McCabe will take a free kick against Razzo, the first gamer. Off to Hassel. Holland. Seen precious little of Nick Holland. Comes out of Prestigiacomo. Off to Wright. Now to half forward. Buckley with Leckus. Support by Watson. And Leckus for the line. Throwing.
They're really only playing their time now, Hawthorn lead. There looks to be the spirit's gone and the work rate's gone, certainly from the midfield group. And it's amazing when a side takes control, as Collingwood has at this point in time. It's so easy to put scoreboard pressure on your opposition.
Clean possession, Salmon. They'll be in a lot of bother if he's not fit to play next week. There's a groin problem. They're not easy to get over. Tallis. Kick back into the pack. Buckley spins McCabe in the tackle.
And the impressive thing, I think, from Collingwood's point of view was in the second quarter when Hawthorn really served the game up to him, and Hawthorn got to the front and really just had the game, and Collingwood just come out after half-time and turned the game around again, and that's something I think is good for their long-term prospects.
A hurdle by Taylor, but he wasn't going anywhere. Woods. Oh, he's given it up. Watson. Should be a goal. Nope. Interested spectator here this afternoon is Mick Malthouse. The Eagles play Collingwood at Subiaco next Friday.
But Drew, Anthony Rocker's had a great influence in the second half too, getting the centre clearances out in the third quarter and doing well around the ground and in the ruck work again today.
Well, I thought he made an immediate impact when Monkey went off the ground in the second quarter with his injured shoulder, and Anthony Rocker just came out to play from the first minute. Salmon outmarks him. Puts it out wide. Crummell floats a hand pass in to Luke McCabe. His kick in the direction of Holland. Outnumbered as they have so often been. Crawford needs a Rovers goal. Gets it.
That old saying, too little, too late, but Shane Crawford, he lifted Hawthorn up in the second quarter, faded out of it in the third quarter, I thought, but really he was 2 up or 3 up, 1 down, which was Crawford. And a good goal under pressure, but it's going to be a big load, I think, on Shane Crawford's shoulders this year.
Shane Crawford, 2 goals. They've had 4 multiple goal scorers. Their leader is Dunstall with 4. Great to see Jason Dunstall come back. Plenty of doubt about him even playing on this season. And after 2 knee reconstructions, he can kick 4 every week and stay standing up. It'll be great for the Hawks. Salmon against Anthony Rocker. In the last 2 minutes of the game, Darren Kapler nearing the end of a long career, you'd have to suspect. Wright beats him. Crow into Richardson. He weighted that beautifully. Richardson's kick outside the 50. Past Salmon it goes. Oh, Buckley. Run around the man on the mark. Kick the goal, Bucks. He didn't need to run around. He's kicked it a mile. Better behind.
One thing from Collingwood's perspective, Lee, Graham Wright seemed to got better as the game got on. He's got into the contest. His surety with his hands and his creativity with his handball has certainly invited a lot of Collingwood peripheral players to come into this contest.
Well, there's Chapman kicking in 20 metres to Salmon. Had their heart in their mouths a few times. Rocker. Well, I was talking to a few media blokes at half-time and they were giving him the greatest spray of all time. I said, he's going all right. Well, hasn't he shoved it down their throats in the second half? Rocker to full forward. McDonald the only hope for the Pies. Oh, well done by Marnie. Not too far off line either. Josh Marnie.
I must say, it's early days, round one, but I think Paul Salmon might be in just for a tough old year. The body for first rounder, you could think your 22nd round, he just really might have that bad groin. They don't heal overnight, and I just get the impression that he's one of the best and fairest the last 2 years for Hawthorn. It's really going to be a testing year for the big fella.
Hard to shake off the groin. Look at Steve Waugh. Woods. Crowd, well done. Can be confused for Justin Crawford a few times. They look a bit similar, those two. Hassel went without the ball. Russell's hand pass knocked down by Graham. Frankie Razzo dragged off it when he didn't have it. Along the boundary line, Russell out of bounds.
It's become evident as the game's gone on. Hawthorn are very deficient across the lines with height. Every time they kick to a contest, there's not really many tall players on the Hawthorn line, so they're coming out of defence and got guys coming to meet the ball. Height's a critical factor, especially late in the game. That's one thing the Hawthorn personnel haven't got.
Salmon beats Rocker. Cromwell looked awkward off the left hand. Another boundary throw and probably the last action of the game. And it's a 39-point lead to Hawthorn. To Collingwood. They've really skipped away in the last quarter. Led by 18 points at three-quarter time. There's the siren. What a win for the Pies. Thumped in the Ansett Cup in the first round. Missed the finals last year. But have come out firing in round one to annihilate Hawthorn in the last quarter. 18-15, 123 to 12-12, 84.